This unsettling footage was originally posted by Instagram user. In the clip, a young guy laughs about being home alone for the very first time, joking that there's nobody around to tell him when to go to bed. He's sitting at the table, casually snacking and chatting with the camera, clearly enjoying having the whole place to himself. But he has absolutely no idea what's hiding in the darkened room just behind him. A ghostly face can be spotted gazing straight in the young man's direction, the eerie figure staying completely still the entire time, never uttering a sound or showing anything below its face. All the while, the young man keeps right on talking, totally oblivious to whatever is watching him from the shadows.
Through the darkened projection booth window, what looks like the silhouette of a head and shoulders appears to be looking down at the two men. A faint pale shape sits where a face would be, while
On a completely normal day, a woman found herself alone in her apartment when something unexpected pulled her attention away from her routine. An unusual shadow appeared to drift across the room, and since she had no roommates or anyone else with her, the dread set in almost instantly. With no way to make sense of what she was witnessing, she reached for her phone and hit record.
How many times do I have to tell you? Even when you're crying, you're beautiful too.
In the footage, she can be seen facing the camera, trying to keep her composure, even humming along to a tune, but then something shifts. An object sitting behind her starts moving on its own, rocking back and forth, with no one anywhere near it. You can watch the panic slowly creep across her face as it happens. Then, right as the clip is about to end, the object drops straight to the ground. She said that moment haunted her for years afterward. Even now, no one has been able to offer a satisfying explanation for what took place. That's ultimately why she chose to put the video out there, to share what she describes as a paranormal encounter that unfolded directly in front of her. And when all is said and done, the question still lingers. This unsettling clip was recorded by a security camera set up inside a child's nursery. Initially, everything looks completely ordinary. The room is still, the baby is sound asleep, and there's nothing to suggest anything is wrong. Then, just moments later, something shows up outside the window that has left countless viewers struggling for an explanation. Pay close attention.
What that is, but this is my infant's room, and I had a cam set up and caught this, and then the light turned off by itself. The window was cracked, but they're a child lock, so it can't be pried open.
Within a few seconds, a ghostly face and a pair of hands slowly emerge outside the glass, appearing to stare into the room from out of the darkness. The figure lingers there for several long moments, seemingly fixed on the interior of the nursery, before vanishing without warning. And that's not even where the story ends. Not long after, the nursery light cuts out on its own, despite nobody being anywhere close to the switch. The family later stated that the window was equipped with child safety locks, which would have made it nearly impossible for someone to reach it from the outside. Even now, people are still going back and forth over whether this is an elaborate setup, some kind of camera glitch, or something that doesn't have such a straightforward answer. This clip was sent in by a man named Edgar, who explains that his daughter had been playing with a toy mirror the family received as a gift from a neighbor. Initially, nobody thought much of it. The mirror was designed to talk, using basic pre-recorded phrases to greet whoever happened to be standing nearby. But then Edgar says the toy started doing something that felt anything but ordinary.
Hola, bienvenido al Castillo de los Sueños del Espejo Mágico.
¿Cuál es tu nombre?
Yo soy Jessie, la princesa más bella del Castillo de los Sueños del Espejo Mágico.
¡Qué tierna eres!
Nosotras seremos mejores amigas.
¿Tu personaje favorito?
Si papá pregunta, mi favorito es mi papi. Si mamá pregunta, yo responderé que la que más me gusta es mi mami. Y si tú me preguntas, te diré que el que más me gusta eres tú. Soy una niña muy inteligente.
Commenters were quick to point out how rapidly the mirror seemed to respond, almost as though it was reacting in the moment. Others chimed in saying they owned the exact same toy, yet theirs had never behaved anything like this. After seeing the footage, Edgar's family decided the best move was to take the mirror out of the house and put it in the shed, though even out there the kids would occasionally play around with it. The thing had been scratched up, broken, and had components swapped out, yet it somehow kept on functioning. Later, after people in the comments pushed for another test, Edgar filmed a second session with the mirror.
Sí tengo miedo.
Hola, bienvenido al Castillo de los Sueños del Espejo Mágico.
Hola.
Hola, encantado de conocerte.
Gracias, a mí igual. Me da gusto.
Eres muy divertido. ¿Tienes una fiesta?
No tengo fiesta. ¿Tú tienes?
No sé. Cuando me levanté, te vi a ti.
Once again, it appears to speak at precisely the right moments, this time giving entirely different answers than it had before. To Edgar and everyone in his household, that made the whole thing feel unlike any toy they'd ever encountered. Whether it was some kind of glitch, a hidden modification, or something far harder to explain, the family had no interest in bringing it back inside. As far as they were concerned, that mirror was staying outside and out of their lives. YouTuber Jonathan Savox had been waiting around for his girlfriend when he captured something deeply unsettling on camera. Those who've watched the footage are convinced they're listening to someone who might be under some kind of possession.
Pas très bien entendu.
T'inquiète pas, toi et ton mec, ta bouche et ta sale gueule, et ton pote, ton mec, vous allez tous crever.
Et il y a mon chat, tu l'as oublié. On va tous coller avec nous.
Ah ouais.
Bonsoir, Cindy.
Je peux contacter le milieu.
C'est quoi ton film préféré?
Espèce de fils de pute.
Je connais pas.
Bon, maintenant, je me déplace. Et je fous le camp.
Now, there's obviously another explanation here. This could just as easily be someone dealing with a severe mental health crisis, which wouldn't be surprising at all given a hospital environment, particularly if this was anywhere close to a psychiatric unit. Paranormal event or mental health episode, nobody can say for sure. What nobody can argue with, though, is that the screaming you hear throughout that footage is absolutely chilling and gut-wrenching. Man from Mexico says that every single night, at around 3 in the morning, someone would knock on his front door, yet each time he answered it, there was nobody there. Then on the night of September 11th, 2012, he was jolted awake by that same familiar yet unsettling sound. The knocking had started again. Turn up your volume for this one. Just like every other time, he swung the door open to find absolutely nothing, no one in sight. But then, just a few minutes later, after he'd stopped the recording and was getting ready to go back to sleep, something caught his eye through the window. Standing right in front of his car was a strange elderly woman, dressed entirely in black. He quickly grabbed his phone and took a photo. In the image, she's completely motionless, her gaze fixed directly on the house. Her face was ghostly pale, completely expressionless. He had never seen her before in his life. Shaken to his core, he retreated to his bedroom and eventually fell asleep. Then the following night, the knocking came again, only this time, it sounded a little different. Pay close attention to what you're about to hear. He crept toward the door as quietly as he could, but when he eased it open, there was no person standing there, just a tree branch on the ground and a black cat sitting nearby, unnervingly still and calm. In the caption accompanying the video, the man stated his belief that the woman was a witch, attempting to gain access to his home, and that the cat was most likely the same entity, having shapeshifted in order to get inside. Once the video spread across the internet, viewers flooded the comments with their own theories, many suggesting that mysterious late-night knocking like this is typically associated with skinwalkers or witches, and warning that you should never open your door if it happens to you. Several people pointed to the photo of the woman, acknowledging that while she looked and carried herself like an ordinary human being, the fact that she was standing there staring at his house at 3 in the morning seemed to back up his claim that she was something far more sinister. So what's your take on all of this? Who do you think that woman really was? Drop your thoughts below. 2 fishermen off the coast of Alvarado, Mexico, were out on the water when they spotted what appeared to be an entire house drifting through the ocean. Unsure of what they were dealing with, they called out to check if anyone was trapped inside, and that's when something chilling was caught on film.
Tan buena la puerta, pero tienen su tranca y están clavadas. Pero que vayan a salir, no me vaya a salir un cristiano ahí. Vaya de frente. ¿Hay alguien con vida? ¿Hay alguien con vida? Respondan. ¡Ey! ¿Quién vive? ¿Quién vive? ¿Quién vive? Hola, mío, la puerta. Que la puerta también es trancada. A ver, yo más prueba. Vaya que cuando me suba me salgan esta gente. ¿Quién? Pues tócale. Porque es que no estuvieran aquí. Ni ver, no. Espérame, estoy grabando por la verdad. ¿Hay alguien con vida? Respondan. Ahí está.
As one of the men approaches to check for survivors, a large dark figure can clearly be seen moving around within the structure, its ghostly pale face briefly appearing at the opening before pulling back out of sight. They shouted for some time, but couldn't detect any sign of a living person. A news outlet later identified the floating structure as the Rocadero restaurant in Tajadera, Veracruz, which had been swept into the sea by a flooded river in the aftermath of Hurricane Priscilla. So the real question is, whatever was lurking in there, it certainly wasn't human. Susan Muluk is a mother whose 2-year-old daughter came to her one day with something deeply unsettling to say. The little girl claimed there was someone hiding in her closet. Shaken by what she'd heard, Susan immediately went to investigate.
My daughter has informed me that there is a person in her closet that keeps smiling at her. Let's go see.
Open it. That's a person.
There's a person?
Yeah.
Can you show me where the person is?
Right here. Right here. Right here.
Is it Elsa?
No. No.
No?
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you show me where the person is? Is it a kid person or a grown-up person?
Grown-up person.
It's a grown-up person?
I want your Elmo.
You want to wear your Elmo costume?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a grown-up person in your closet?
Yeah.
And it's right there?
Yeah. I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah. I'm a person.
Okay, we'll get rid of the...
Her daughter had just told her there was a figure in the closet that wouldn't stop grinning at her, and she was going in to find out what was really there. The child looked genuinely terrified, clearly convinced that something was lurking just behind that door. When Susan finally pulled it open though, nothing obvious jumped out. A number of viewers pointed out a box sitting inside the closet that, at the right angle, could almost resemble a face. Many figured that was probably what spooked the little girl, but Susan wasn't buying it, and she put out a follow-up video to shut that theory down.
There is like a woman-shaped thing on the box, which is very strange. So I take the box out. I took all the clothes out of that in case that was like causing a shadow or something. So I took all the clothes out of the back of that closet. I took the box out, and she still saw the person. Oops, someone's at my door. She still saw the person. She said that they're still there and they're still smiling.
So if the box wasn't to blame, what on earth did that child actually see in there? Susan says her solution was to put a lock on the closet door, hoping it would finally give her daughter some peace at night. Apparently it worked, because the girl has been sleeping without any trouble ever since. Even so, Susan hasn't completely let her guard down, and she's still watching that closet closely in case anything unusual decides.
That's a person.
There's a person?
Yeah.
Can you show me where the person?
The videos you're about to see come from the account displayed on your screen right now. The account is run by a woman who lost her grandfather sometime in 2024. She says he owned a trailer and tragically died inside it. Ever since, the trailer has just been sitting there, untouched and empty. Wanting to check on its condition, she and a friend decided to go take a look. The moment they got there, something stopped them in their tracks. The floorboards inside the trailer were creaking in the exact same way they always did when her grandfather used to walk across them. Determined to get it on camera, she pulled out her phone and started recording. And what she caught is genuinely unsettling.
Dude, look.
I don't like it. I see it. Right into the house. Yeah, and I go pee.
You think somebody's in there?
No, like right into the house with the car. Oh.
As they kept the camera trained on the window where the sounds were originating, they spotted what looked like a pale face peering out at them from inside. Shaken, the two of them got out of there fast. Just before they fled, she managed to snap a photo of that window, and when she later held it up against an old photograph of her grandfather, the resemblance left her speechless. A couple of days after that, she worked up the nerve to go back, hoping to find more answers.
There's nobody, Mom.
Whether the face and the moving door are somehow related is hard to say with any certainty. The woman herself believes her grandfather may still have some kind of connection to the place he once lived. Others aren't so sure, though, and think something far darker could be at work, mimicking a loved one's appearance to draw her in. So where do you stand on this one? Is her grandfather still watching over that trailer? Or is there a completely different explanation for what was documented here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Here's a story involving a woman named Anita, who originally gained attention on TikTok after sharing news about herself and her friends. But it was the footage from her home security camera that truly stopped people in their tracks, racking up over 500,000 views once it made the rounds. At 3:52 in the morn, something triggers the motion sensor in her living room. What sets it off, though, is far from easy to explain. A strange white shape suddenly shoots into the frame, then slowly drifts across the room. At first glance, it looks like it could be a stray thread or a strand of hair, but the way it moves through the air doesn't line up with either of those explanations. It glides in a way that just feels off. Could it simply be some thin anomaly that makes its way down to the baseboard? Well, before anyone could settle on that, things got even weirder. Without warning, the same shape reappears at the exact same location and at the exact same instant, then vanishes just as abruptly. Now, it's entirely possible this is all just a strange coincidence, but a number of theorists and researchers who studied the clip came away convinced they had just watched that anomaly somehow shift into a human form. A content creator who goes by Insomnia Online says his home surveillance system has been documenting a string of deeply unsettling occurrences. See for yourself. It all started with an office door that gradually swung shut on its own after the room had been vacated. Then, several nights later during a late recording session, his microphone caught what could only be described as the sound of small footsteps scurrying down the hallway. Here's what the camera picked up.
Uy, se escucharon pasos en el techo. No mames, acabo de escuchar pasos en el techo. Uy, ¿eres tú? Estás aquí.
Even though the house seemed to be completely unoccupied, yet another camera soon captured the garage door rolling open by itself, with nobody anywhere in sight. Any one of these moments might have a perfectly rational explanation, but taken all together, they form an unsettling pattern that has viewers questioning whether something invisible has been quietly making its way through the home. The clip opens with almost nothing worth noting. Whoever is behind the camera appears to simply be recording their immediate surroundings, the kind of directionless footage shot with zero expectation that anything is about to interrupt it. Then, with no warning and no lead-up whatsoever, a figure enters the frame, grayish, distorted in a way that's difficult to articulate, as though its shape doesn't quite belong against the rest of the environment. What disturbs people most isn't the figure's appearance, it's the way it moves. It isn't a normal walk, not the effortless, automatic stride of someone in motion without thinking, but it isn't a stagger either, not the loose and uneven stumbling of someone who has simply lost their footing. It occupies some strange territory in between, a movement that registers as intentionally wrong. The kind of motion a body produces when it's no longer bound by the rules a body is typically supposed to obey, when the rhythm and coordination feel quietly, undeniably broken, and it doesn't hesitate for even a second. Almost immediately, it starts closing the gap toward the person holding the camera. No pause, no moment of uncertainty, that same deeply unsettling gait, carrying it forward without interruption. There's no faltering, no sign of hesitation, no deceleration. It just keeps coming, steady and relentless, with that same wrongness baked into every step, making it impossible to write off as a shadow playing tricks or some mundane camera artifact, just a person moving strangely through the dark. The person filming doesn't stick around to see what happens if it reaches them. They bolt, and the footage lurches into that frantic, disoriented chaos that comes from someone sprinting while desperately clinging to their phone. It doesn't go on long. Within a few seconds, they go down, the camera swinging violently before the recording cuts out completely, ending mid-fall with no resolution and no final glimpse of whatever was closing in behind them. Nothing has emerged since. No follow-up, no explanation, no confirmation of what that figure actually was, or what unfolded after the recording died. Just the fall, and then silence. A TikTok user going by Brad, based somewhere in the United States, has been documenting some seriously disturbing paranormal activity inside his house for a considerable period of time. Throughout these months, he's built up a collection of genuinely compelling footage featuring poltergeist behavior and shadowy figures lurking around his home. But his most recent post may be his most striking yet, a razor-sharp apparition caught standing directly before him. The clip opens with Brad pointing his camera into his darkened bedroom, where a looming black shadow figure is unmistakably visible, just hovering there in the darkness. He then switches on the light in the adjacent room, and in what can only be described as an instant, the figure is simply gone. Now, skeptics were quick to dismiss this as nothing more than a slick editing trick, a basic cut between the lit and unlit versions of the room. But when the footage is broken down frame by frame, and the precise moment the light comes on is examined closely, every single object in that room stays exactly where it should be. There's no jump, no misalignment, nothing to suggest the footage was spliced. What raises the stakes even further is that this same dark presence has shown up repeatedly across Brad's earlier videos. It's become a recurring. To close out this video, we hear from a man named Daniel, who says he's been carrying crushing guilt ever since he lost his father. The two had gone years without speaking before his father died, and Daniel claims that once he returned home from the funeral, things in his life took a deeply unsettling turn. Initially, the strange occurrences felt easy to dismiss. Faint knocking sounds drifted through the hallway in the dead of night, and small objects seemed to move on their own when no one was around. Daniel told himself it was nothing more than stress, grief, and exhaustion catching up with him. Then one evening, as he sat alone in the living room, his piano began striking random notes entirely on its own. Shaken to his core, he pulled out his phone and hit record. But if he thought that was the worst of it, he was wrong. The activity only escalated from there. Pay close attention to what his camera captured.
En el nombre de Jesús te ordeno que te vayas. En el nombre de Jesús ordeno que te vayas. No tienes derecho de estar aquí. Ordeno que te vas. Ordeno que te vas en el nombre de Jesús.
Over the following days, the incidents grew far more alarming and harder to ignore. See for yourself what he documented next.
Santo Dios. Tumbaron el casco. Hay una mano allí. Eso es una mano. Oh, Dios mío. ¿Quién está ahí? Voy a tener que ir a mirar. Pareció ver una mano. Pareció ver una mano, Dios.
Kitchen cabinets swung open slowly with no one near them, and dark, shadowy shapes flickered briefly in the corners of rooms before disappearing. Desperate for some kind of relief, Daniel attempted to cleanse his home through prayer and religious music, convinced that something sinister may have followed him back from the funeral. Before long, his girlfriend began encountering the disturbing phenomena herself. Then one night, the two were jolted awake by the sound of glass violently shattering somewhere in the kitchen. This is the moment they caught on camera.
Bueno, voy a grabar este video porque nuevamente se están escuchando en el apartamento ruidos. Son las 3 de la mañana con 16 minutos y...
Escucha.
Sí, amor, sí se escucha. ¿Es en la sala?
Sí. Escucha.
Esta vez no estoy solo, esta vez estoy con mi novia que por fin decidió venir a acompañarme, pues estaba asustada debido a todas estas cosas que están pasando. ¿Dónde es eso, amor?
La cocina.
¿Qué fue eso?
Se cayó.
Yo voy a mirar. Quédese aquí, amor, quédese aquí. Señor bendito. Amor, quédese acá, yo voy solo, amor.
No, yo no.
Prenda la luz. Se ve todo tranquilo por acá. En el nombre de Jesús, manifiéstate. Parece que es en la cocina. En el nombre de Jesús, manifiéstate. Vaya para el cuarto, amor.
¿No?
¿Qué fue eso? ¿Estás viendo, amor? ¿Estás viendo? Es en la cocina, amor. Cuidado con la cocina. Manifiéstate en el nombre de Jesús. Te ordeno que te manifiestes. ¿Qué fue lo que sonó así ahorita, amor?
La cocina.
Mierda. Mira, amor, mira. ¿Ves que no me tiras, amor? Es un vaso. Y mira, todos los cajones están abiertos. ¿Qué es lo que pasa aquí?
When they investigated, shattered glass was scattered across the floor, yet the house was otherwise empty. Daniel's girlfriend later described the atmosphere inside the home as making her feel genuinely ill, and she refused to set foot there again. Left entirely on his own, Daniel says the paranormal events now occur every single night and seem to be growing more aggressive over time. Whether what's happening inside that house is truly supernatural or has some other explanation, no one has managed to account for the deeply disturbing experiences he says he continues to endure. On December 26, 2022, a TikTok creator going by the name KittyK38 posted a clip capturing a bizarre event that she claims unfolded right inside her own bedroom. She describes how she and her husband were just winding down for the night when something across the room suddenly caught their attention. See for yourself what they were dealing with.
What is that?
Oh
Okay,
my
guys.
God.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Oh my
okay.
god. Oh my god.
I'm gonna go look.
These are the new closet doors, guys. The new closet doors that we just installed. Oh my god. Okay. Nothing. Nothing in the closet. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Be careful.
Okay, no.
Okay, so clearly installing these doors, as you guys can see, we're still dealing with.
As the footage shows, one of the cabinet doors starts rattling back and forth on its own, with both Kitty and her husband staring on in complete shock. Kitty mentioned that the cabinet had only been put up recently, which made the whole thing even more difficult for her to account for. At a certain point, her husband decides he's going to check it out himself. He approaches the cabinet, pulls the door open, and takes a careful look inside. Yet nothing turns up that might explain what caused the shaking. Of course, there's always the possibility that the whole thing was set up from the start. Since the footage only captures one angle, ruling out a hoax entirely just isn't possible. With no follow-up information or supporting evidence, piecing together what actually went on in that room is no easy task. Maybe you'll spot something that I've completely overlooked. A TikTok user, going by the name Music Lover, uploaded this clip back in June 2025. Based on the description he provided, the footage wasn't even his to begin with. Apparently, it was sent to him by his father, who says caregivers at his uncle's shared residence in the United States recorded it while the uncle was sound asleep. So this wasn't someone shooting content for social media. This was a video that got passed around because it genuinely disturbed everyone who laid eyes on it. The uploader also mentions that his father believes the footage captures the spirit of his grandfather, potentially lingering around the uncle's home. Music Lover himself, however, isn't so sure. In his view, whatever is happening on screen feels far too aggressive to be the presence of his grandfather. Judge for yourself what unfolds. All throughout the sequence, a series of unsettling things take place inside the home before the footage suddenly cuts out. Items shift on their own, the energy feels frantic and disordered, and it becomes increasingly obvious that whatever force is at work isn't simply trying to get noticed. It's making itself known in a very deliberate way. And according to his description, after sitting with this video, Music Lover admits he genuinely doesn't know what to believe anymore, saying the entire situation has left him feeling completely overwhelmed. So where do you stand on this? Could this truly be a deceased relative reaching out from beyond? Or does the sheer intensity of what we're watching point to something far more sinister? The answer may never come. This chilling and bizarre video originated in Japan and spread across the internet at a staggering rate. It was captured by a security camera mounted inside an elevator of a residential apartment building back in 2012. The footage opens with a woman standing alone in the elevator, and what follows is something that will genuinely make your jaw drop. See for yourself. Incredibly, the camera appears to record the woman's facial features, shifting and morphing into the face of a man, right before your eyes. The entire transformation takes only a matter of seconds. Countless theories and explanations have circulated around this footage, but the one that gained the most traction suggests that this woman was no ordinary person, and that what unfolded was tied to something beyond the natural world. So what's your take? This next clip was submitted by Nuke's top 5 viewers, Tuva and Sunniva, who are based in Norway. According to Tuva, she and her family moved into a new apartment back in May of last year, and prior to that, none of them had ever encountered anything paranormal. Tuva also mentions that both she and her sister Sunniva considered themselves skeptics, or at least they did, right up until this moment.
Her er rommet mitt, der står jeg, der står Tuva. Ut her er stua, og det her...
Did you catch that? While Sunniva was filming a walkthrough of the apartment to send to a friend, something dark and strange appears to be standing directly in front of the front door. The shape is so deeply shadowed that it almost disappears into the darkness around it. Yet Sunniva says she could make it out clearly with her own eyes. She lets out a startled gasp and yanks her phone back so sharply that it collides with her other hand and the microphone cuts out. When the footage is significantly brightened, you can actually see that whatever is standing there obscures the light coming through the door's peephole. Her sister Tuva adds that a woman who previously lived in the apartment died there. So is it possible that this former resident never quite left? Back in June 2020, a guy named Reese Davis posted a video to his YouTube channel that starts off pretty unremarkably, just him and a bunch of friends hanging out for the evening. But it doesn't stay that way for long. Something out in the distance grabs their attention, and the whole vibe shifts almost immediately. See for yourself what unfolded.
What?
What was that?
What? What the f? Holy shit. Dude, is that a person?
We should probably...
Close it, please lock it, oh my god.
Fucking lock that shit, dude.
Dude, okay.
I think we left Saint's phone up there.
Yeah, we left someone's phone. Doesn't matter. Bro, we'll get it later.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's scary.
Yeah, come back.
Oh my god, first. Okay, is the side door locked? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Holy shit. Wait, Nick, did you lock the door?
Did you lock it? Did you lock this door? I don't want to get close to the door. Holy crap. Make sure it's locked. No, make sure it's locked. Okay.
That is creepy as hell.
Dude.
What the f is that, dude?
Does that look like it's going around.
All throughout the footage, a tall, spindly figure can be spotted moving around on all fours, some distance away, and it seems to be keeping tabs on Reese and the group the entire time. It never really closes the gap between them, but the fact that it keeps showing up is more than enough to put everyone on edge. At a certain point, the group decides to retreat inside the house, figuring that getting some walls between them and whatever that thing is might help. But the encounter isn't done with them yet. The same figure then turns up outside the house, apparently peering in through the windows, which takes the whole situation to an even more disturbing level. Now, one explanation is that somebody was just crawling around out there on all fours as part of some elaborate prank or staged hoax. But if that's not what's going on here, this is a genuinely strange piece of footage that's pretty hard to account for. Late at night, a group of friends was making their way down a deserted street when they suddenly came across a figure unlike anything they could have imagined. Just ahead of them, a humanoid shape moved at a steady pace, yet it had no head whatsoever. Its body glided along effortlessly, as though nothing was out of the ordinary, leaving the entire group rooted to the spot, completely speechless and barely able to catch their breath. What they were looking at appeared to be a spectral entity drifting. The following video was recorded by a woman named Carrie Ann, who was out on a horseback ride near Mount Shasta in Northern California with her friend Jordan, when the two of them stumbled onto something neither of them could immediately explain. It was dusk, the kind of low blue evening light that makes everything feel slightly off, and at some point during the ride they began hearing it, a loud, layered, almost ethereal sound rising up from the ground around them, like a chorus of electronic voices humming all at once. Carrie Ann pulled out her phone and started recording.
Jordan and I went on a ride, and we just came across this noise that we heard. We're going up this hill, and you can hear it in the background. I'm gonna show you. It's a little freaking creepy. Hold on. It's creepy. There's a mountain. And look there is another 100 of them out there, but it's like this Lemurian beacon system. I have no idea. Somebody put a lot of effort into this. Come on. This is insane. I guess they're solar powered. This one actually makes sense. The other ones are just white noise. All right, well, we're getting out of here. Stat. Jordan left me.
Mount Shasta has carried that legend for over a century. The belief that a hidden underground city called Telos exists beneath the mountain, the last refuge of the ancient Lemurians, a civilization said to have survived the sinking of their continent thousands of years ago. Whether the strange sounds are connected to this history or not, this is the exact folklore this place is famous for. The next day, the two of them went back in full daylight to get a better look. Watch.
Where is that coming from? It's like it's way over there, but it's also right here. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. This is straight apocalyptic. Somebody is summoning something here. What is happening? What is happening right now? Okay, no. Pretty sure Jordan and I just stumbled across a live Lemurian conference call. Sorry for interrupting.
Mount Shasta for you.
I am sitting here freaking out because I thought this bag of trash was talking to me, and everything you were saying was coming over the Bluetooth speaker in my bag.
Oh my God.
I'm like, the trash bag is talking to me now.
Oh, my phone is still connected.
Your phone is connected. I had to piss my pants going, we gotta go, because the trash is talking to us.
Oh boy.
In other words, actually, let's go.
Okay.
I'm over it. We just found another one. Way up the mountain. Something about salvation.
Now it's sunny, clear skies, and the hillside reveals something even stranger in the light. Not just a random scatter of devices, but long, serpentine lines of them running up the slope in deliberate formations. Jordan laughs and says, "Mata Shasta for you," like this is somehow a completely reasonable thing to find on a trail. And she's not entirely wrong. The mountain attracts this kind of thing. But there's a second reveal buried in this clip that makes the whole thing even funnier. Carrie Ann realizes mid-video that the disembodied voices she'd been hearing the night before, the ones that had her genuinely convinced she was picking up something supernatural, were coming from her own Bluetooth speaker, playing from inside her saddlebag. She'd been terrifying herself with her own phone. Still, that explanation only covers the voices. It doesn't cover the hundreds of devices, or whoever placed them there, or why. So Carrie Ann went back a third time, this time determined to figure out the source. Listen closely.
All right, boys and girls, we are going back and we're going to get to the bottom of this. Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, shit.
Who are the representatives of God for our spiritual elevation. We humbly worship, praise, thank, obey, and love God Almighty, the Most High, the greatest, for world beacon, world peace, and our soul liberation. We thank, love, praise the only Son of God, who is the ultimate master.
She finds the original packaging in a cardboard box on the hillside, product boxes printed in Chinese, featuring lotus flower and dragonfly illustrations, and when she holds one of the speakers up, you can hear it broadcasting a Buddhist chant, Namo Amituofo, a traditional chant to Amitabha Buddha, repeating from the solar panel on the device. She eventually tracks the product down to an Etsy listing, Vajrayana Mahayana Prayer Mantra Chanting Box, solar powered, sold by a seller called Lama Noriha for around $51 each. Whoever planted them went to significant expense and effort, spreading what appears to be hundreds of solar-powered prayer chanting boxes across a remote mountain trail in deliberate arrangements, left to broadcast Buddhist mantras and spiritual prayers into the open air around one of the most spiritually charged landscapes in North America. Some people in the comments found it beautiful, a kind of open-air devotional installation, broadcasting prayers for world peace at the foot of a sacred mountain. Others found it deeply unsettling, especially given how genuinely frightening the sound was at dusk. I'll let you decide which side of that you land on, but what nobody's been able to answer is who put them there, when, and whether they're planning to come back and add more. In this next clip, a man films himself indoors, speaking directly into his phone in Spanish, clearly shaken. He explains that the day before, he'd visited one of the lagoons of Chilca, a coastal area outside Lima, Peru, long associated with strange energy and unexplained occurrences, and that something happened there he couldn't explain. He's practically begging his viewers to help him figure out what he encountered. Then the footage cuts. Watch. The camera shifts to a nighttime outdoor scene, pointing down at a turquoise-painted wall covered in dark, smeared markings that resemble three-toed footprints or handprints. Then, at the very end, a large, dark hand with long, sharp claws suddenly grabs the corner of that wall from off-screen, textured, scaly, and unmistakably not human. Some viewers immediately called it a staged prop, pointing to the sound effect that drops right on cue. Others aren't so sure, because if you look at those markings on the wall before the hand appears, they were already there. So what exactly left them? Now in this next clip, someone is lying in bed in what looks like a motel room, filming from under the covers in a dimly lit space. And they've been awake for 3 days straight. That detail matters, because what they're about to capture puts everything in question. Watch. Standing beside the door appears to be a dark figure draped in what looks like a black cloth. What stands out most is the face, a pale. The figure doesn't appear to move. It simply remains there, watching from the corner of the room. At first, she assumes sleep deprivation is playing tricks on her mind. After 3 days without sleep, visual hallucinations are well documented and can become remarkably vivid, often involving shadowy figures or people standing in doorways. That alone would be a reasonable explanation. But then she reviews the recording. The figure appears to have been captured on camera as well. That detail is what convinced her she wasn't imagining it. Those who favor a paranormal explanation compare it to reports of shadow figures, particularly the subtype often described as cloaked or hooded apparitions. Dark, human-shaped forms with unusually pale or featureless faces that witnesses claim to encounter during the night. Whether the camera captured an ordinary object distorted by darkness, or whether her exhaustion simply caused her to notice something that had been there all along. The fact that the same figure appeared both to her eyes and through the camera lens is what continues to fuel the debate. Now, in this next clip, 2 men are filming outdoors at night along a dark dirt road somewhere in a Spanish-speaking country. The scene lit only by a single off-camera light casting a sickly greenish-yellow glow over the tree line. For a few seconds, everything is still, just shadows and shaky camera work and a nervous exchange of words between them. Then something steps out of the foliage. Watch.
Ya fue, guacho, vamos a acá.
Guacho, mira, se está viniendo por acá. Está cruzando la calle, guacho.
Se fue.
A small, bipedal figure with a disproportionately large head hobbles across the dirt path from left to right, and the men immediately lose their composure. One shouting that it's crossing the street, heading toward them, before the camera jerks violently and cuts to black. What they're calling it in the audio is a duende, a term rooted in Spanish and Latin American folklore referring to a small goblin-like spirit, sometimes mischievous, sometimes deeply unsettling, said to appear near roads and wooded areas at night. You can hear the panic in their voices shift the moment the figure turns in their direction. Skeptics point to the poor video quality and suggest it could be a child or someone in costume, but that hobbling gait and oversized silhouette are genuinely difficult to explain away. What do you think was crossing that road? This next video was recorded by a man who says the strange activity in his home has been going on for a while. But on this particular night, things took a turn he wasn't quite ready for. It's 4:53 in the morning. He's downstairs alone, his family asleep upstairs, and he's got a Coors Light in his hand when the knocking starts coming from his basement door. Slow at first, one knock, then another, then a third, spaced out and deliberate, like something testing to see if he's listening. He points the camera at the door and pans the room briefly, showing the couch, the coffee table, the staircase with the baby gate at the top, and then comes back to the door. He says it himself. This isn't the first time he's heard it. Watch.
Alright, so that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning, and I just started hearing that. I have no fucking idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
What makes this so unsettling isn't just the sound, it's the escalation. Those early knocks are almost calm, then they turn into a rapid, frantic drumming, the kind that doesn't sound like a pipe settling or an animal scratching, and then the bangs. 3 of them, each one louder than the last, hitting the door with a force that feels deliberate, almost impatient. He's not performing fear either. His expression is more confused than theatrical, like a man who genuinely doesn't know what to do next. Some people in the comments pointed to territorial behavior, the idea that whatever is making that sound is asserting itself, warning him rather than inviting him. Others suggested a more specific framework, comparing it to what some paranormal researchers call threshold phenomena, where entities are believed to be bound by certain boundaries and use sound to demand entry rather than simply passing through. Skeptics will point out a person hiding on the other side with nothing better to do at 5 a.m., but his tone, flat, tired, almost resigned doesn't read like someone in on the joke. The activity didn't stop there. The following night, or at least another night in the same house, he was sitting in that same room when the knocking started up again, this time from the wall beside the downstairs bathroom. He says he'd been hearing it regularly at that point, tapping on the bathroom door, sounds from the wall, the same pattern repeating itself. He started recording to see if anything else would happen. Watch.
Alright, so I was hearing that knocking again, right? Except this time it's coming from that wall right there, which is my downstairs bathroom. And after a while, I started hearing tapping on the bathroom door as well. So, what else? Record. See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's... fuck. Okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are going to be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this motherfucker right here. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
When he posted the footage online, most people focused on what they claimed to hear at the very end, a faint hissing sound that many missed the first time until they replayed it with headphones. Clay didn't think much of it at first, until viewers started asking about where he lives. When he told them he's in South Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the reaction changed. People in the comments claimed the area has a history of old houses with dark pasts, and that South Milwaukee in particular has more than its share of hauntings. This place is tied to several local stories, but there's one in particular about a man who disappeared in the 1950s, last seen walking into a house on Clay Street. Now, if whatever is in that house just crossed from making noise to moving things, the question worth asking is, what comes after that? The following video was recorded inside a small frozen yogurt shop sometime after closing by a man who'd been dealing with unexplained activity in the building for a while. Flickering lights, strange sounds, the kind of persistent low-level strangeness that you can almost convince yourself to ignore until you can't anymore. On this particular night, he and a woman he works with were still inside after hours trying to retrieve her keys from the back room, and he decided to pull his phone out and film what was happening. He mentions, almost in disbelief, that the lights had already started flickering again, and this wasn't the first time.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and...
I'm shaking right now.
Okay, and her keys are in the bag.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
It's like, bro, why are my keys on the floor? They were not there. Like, I dead put them on the desk. Like, oh my god. What the hell?
This is literally insane.
The crash erupts out of nowhere from somewhere deeper in the building. No visible source, no explanation, and what follows is pure chaos. Both of them sprinting toward the back office in a full panic. But then they find her keys lying on the floor. She's insistent that she left them on the desk, and the man confirms he didn't see them there either. That alone is unsettling. Displaced objects are one of the most commonly reported signs of poltergeist-type activity. The kind of presence that doesn't just make noise, but physically interacts with the environment, moving things deliberately, as if to be noticed. Then it got worse. The second clip picks up shortly after, with the two of them still inside, watching the security monitors in the back office while the cameras around the store continue to flicker. They decide they need to leave. They're already nearly an hour past closing, and as they make their way toward the exit, something comes flying out of the darkness right past the camera. Watch.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras, and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like, it's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it, stop it. Oh, fuck.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is.
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo, what the bro, Nick, did you this on purpose? No, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally. Are you?
No, wait, no. Nah.
No. We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
You can see it cut through the frame before clattering off screen, and both of them bolt straight for the door. The nervous laughter outside is the kind that comes when you're too shaken to process what just happened any other way. But the most unsettling detail comes when he turns the camera back through the glass front door. 2 metal chairs that were upright moments earlier are now tipped over on the floor, and neither of them touched them. He says he only looked away for a few seconds. Poltergeist cases like this one tend to follow a pattern where the activity doesn't just repeat, it escalates, becoming more physical and more direct over time, as though whatever is present is testing how much it can do before someone finally leaves. He says he's planning to do an overnight stay to try to make contact. What do you think will happen if he does? This next video was recorded inside a family home using 2 mounted security cameras, one in a bedroom, one in the dining room, and the footage spans 2 separate dates in February of 2026, both captured in the early hours of the morning. In the bedroom clip, recorded just after 2 a.m., an older woman, a younger woman, and a child are all asleep, completely still. Nothing in the room is moving. Listen closely. A quiet, disembodied male-sounding voice is heard whispering a name, Naneng, into a room where everyone is asleep. Then in the dining room footage recorded just after 5 a.m., the same kind of voice speaks again in an empty room, saying the name Len, seconds before a teenage girl walks out of a hallway door on her own. And back in the bedroom, at the exact same timestamp, the voice speaks once more, this time with what sounds like a questioning inflection, calling out while the entire family remains completely unconscious. So if you listen carefully, something is calling their names, and not one of them heard it. Now in this next clip, a man is walking through a large concrete drainage tunnel, the kind covered in graffiti, with a shallow stream running along the floor, when something in the darkness ahead stops him cold. He'd gone in alone, recording on his phone, moving through the echoing pipe with nothing but the ambient glow of his camera lighting the way. The tunnel stretched ahead of him, dark and narrow, and for a moment everything seemed quiet. Then, at around the 15-second mark, a sharp metallic clicking sound echoes out from somewhere deep in the darkness. He stops walking. He calls out, "Watch."
What the hell? Hello?
What answers him back isn't a person. A low, guttural sound, somewhere between a growl and a distorted whisper, rolls back through the tunnel in response to his voice. And then, as his eyes adjust to the darkness, you can make out the shape standing at the far end. Tall, impossibly thin, 2 points of white light where the eyes should be. The enhanced replay at the end makes it even harder to dismiss. The figure's limbs are long and spindly, its skin pale and gaunt, and it stands completely motionless right up until the moment it lunges and lets out a sustained, piercing shriek that sounds nothing like a human being. He runs. A lot of viewers immediately called it a crawler, a modern internet label for pale, thin, humanoid figures, reported in isolated tunnels and underground spaces, usually described by their unnatural proportions and the way they move. Others think the glowing eyes point to something else entirely, something that doesn't fit neatly into any category. Skeptics argue it could be a person with a torch, but that explanation gets harder to hold onto when you hear what came out of that tunnel. So what exactly was standing in the dark, waiting? The following video was recorded inside a 1920s home during the daytime, which, honestly, makes it harder to dismiss than most. The man filming had been upstairs watching TV when he heard a banging sound coming from the living room below. He says there's nobody else in the house. As he makes his way down the stairs and through the hallway, past taxidermy, Venetian masks, old framed pictures, and a crucifix on the wall, he mentions that some of his haunted objects from a previous home are now kept here, though nothing has ever happened with them. He calls out into the empty rooms, no response, just the steady ticking of a grandfather clock and the feeling that something is waiting. Watch.
It's banging in the living room. There's nobody else in the house. I've just been upstairs watching TV. Some of my old haunted objects from the old house are in here, but nothing's ever happened. Hello? Hello? Oh! Whoa! Shit. Oh my god. What? What the hell? Whoa, I'm not staying in there. Oh my god. Oh, it's even colder in here. What is that noise? Hello? Oh my god. Well, it looks like my objects are back at it again, doesn't it? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? I am getting out of here. What the hell?
Two events hit almost back to back. A taxidermy bird on the fireplace mantel flaps its wings suddenly, then the door slams shut on its own with a heavy metallic crash. Then in the dining room, a chair is violently thrown backward across the floor. He screams. He's done. If you look at how quickly these events escalate, bird, door, chair, all within about a minute, it fits a pattern that paranormal researchers often describe as poltergeist behavior, where physical objects are moved or thrown with what seems like deliberate escalating force. The term poltergeist comes from the German for noisy ghost, and what makes these cases distinct is the physical aggression, not just shadows or sounds, but objects acting against gravity. Skeptics will say the taxidermy bird could be mechanical, that the door and chair could be rigged, but his reaction, the shaky hands, the swearing, the decision to just leave, that's difficult to fake convincingly. He even notes a second chair had shifted by the time he looked back. So what set it all off? Now in this next clip, a man is filming inside his home just 3 days after losing his brother Chris. And what you're about to witness isn't terrifying, so much as it is deeply unsettling in a quiet, personal way. He's moving through a dimly lit room at night, emotional but calm, speaking directly to his brother's presence as if Chris might actually be listening. At one point, he stops the camera on a child's plastic toy kitchen set sitting against the wall, green and white, completely still. He asks softly, "Is that you, Chris? Do it again. Watch."
That's you, Chris. Do it again. I feel your presence, bro. I feel your presence. Do it again. Holy shitballs.
What did I miss?
The burner on the toy stove lights up with a flashing red glow and emits an electronic sizzling sound. Then, after it goes quiet, he says it again. Do it again, and the toy activates a second time, this time playing a completely different sound sequence. Many people who've experienced grief report moments exactly like this one, where an object associated with family or routine seems to respond at just the right moment. Others think the timing is too precise to dismiss. You decide. This next video was recorded inside a cluttered garage, filmed by a man who had been about to lock up for the night when something stopped him. He claims that just before he started recording, he heard a laugh coming from the back of the garage. Not a voice, not a knock, but a laugh. And he describes it as the most unnerving, weird laugh he's ever heard, seeming to come from somewhere near one of the riding mowers. So instead of leaving, he pulled out his phone and started moving through the space, sweeping the light across the concrete floor, the shelves, the equipment, trying to find any explanation for what he'd just heard. He hadn't found anything yet. Watch.
Alright, so I was just closing this up. Like just locking it up to head out. And I closed the bay. And I was closing this door. I shut the lights off, getting ready to close this door. And heard, I swear, I heard a laugh. And it was the most unnerving, and it was such a weird laugh. It sounded like it was coming from that back mower, like something was sitting on that back mower. I should have left it alone. I don't even know what that was, where it came from, where it went. But I'm not sticking around to find out, so I'm out of here. Screw this. I'm out of here. I am not sticking around.
A sudden, sharp metallic crash explodes off-screen with enough force to make him physically flinch, and when he swings the light toward the source, there's nothing there. No fallen object, no obvious cause, nothing on the floor that wasn't there before. His voice afterward is shaky, and you can hear him repeating that he should have just left, that he doesn't know where the sound came from or where it went. Some think residual energy in cluttered, closed-off spaces can build tension and release it violently, almost like pressure finding an outlet. And the laugh he heard before he even started filming, that detail is hard to shake. What exactly was waiting for him in that garage? This next clip was recorded by a woman at night, sitting in her car, describing something she'd witnessed inside her home. And what makes it so hard to dismiss is the detail she'd kept coming back to. She explains that on the same day she played Surah al-Baqarah, one of the most protective recitations in Islamic tradition, through the house, she passed by her children's room and noticed one of the toys doing something she couldn't explain. Her daughter's Peppa Pig stuffed toy lying on the bed. Watch.
I put Baqarah on my house. That same day, I am like just passing by my kid's room, and basically I see one of the toys doing this. Now, when I first saw it, I thought, are you really seeing things? Because ain't no way that thing is moving its eyes. There is no way it's moving its eyes. Does that make sense? No, it does not. This is your child's little toy that they always love and sleep with. My daughter loves it. That thing is her life, okay? My daughter and that monkey chump are the same. She loves that little toy. So I'm like, ain't no way. It has to be my eyes. So I'm looking at it. My son comes. He's also looking at it. Both of us are like looking at each other. We're like, oh, I don't know. Let's use the camera. And then we use the camera and we see for our eyes. First time in real life, this toy was moving its eyes. What could it be? What do you guys think it is? Do you think it's jinn?
If you look closely, the toy's plastic eye slowly rotates upward, turning, according to her, to look directly at the camera. She says she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her at first, so she called her son over, and both of them stood there watching it together before deciding to film it. Many in the Muslim community watching this immediately pointed to jinn, supernatural beings described in Islamic tradition as created from smokeless fire, capable of inhabiting objects, invisible to the naked eye, but very much present. Jinn aren't considered innately evil, but certain ones are believed to attach to children's belongings specifically. She ends the clip asking the audience the same question she still can't answer herself. What do you think it is? The following video was recorded somewhere beneath what appears to be an abandoned industrial building. No voices, no footsteps, no sound at all. Just the slow drift of the lens through deep shadow, past a low brick wall, and down a long corridor, toward a faint greenish light in the far distance. Nothing seemed out of place at first. Watch.
Is your name Leroy? Dude, I just heard something from like another room. I heard something back that way. Dude, you hear that talk? Did you hear that? I hear a man's voice. Somebody might call us here, dude. Ooh, what was that? Ooh, what was that?
There, between two of the support pillars, a tall, slender shape stands completely still, dark, undefined, blending almost entirely into the surrounding blackness. If you look closely, you'll notice it has a distinctly humanoid silhouette, but no discernible features whatsoever. Some viewers think it's a shadow person, a type of entity described across dozens of independent accounts as a tall, featureless, dark presence that appears briefly and then simply vanishes. Others think it's pareidolia, the brain forcing a human shape out of low-light geometry, and the footage is ambiguous enough that neither explanation fully wins. Now, in this next clip, a demolition crew in Adelaide, South Australia, was tearing down the old Royal Adelaide Hospital when one of them started noticing things that didn't quite fit the job. The building had already been stripped back, corridors cluttered with debris bags, walls scarred from demolition work, the kind of place that feels emptied out but somehow not quite vacant. A friend of the filmer was part of the crew and captured this footage on a handheld camera, pointing down one of the dimly lit hallways toward a set of double doors, one of them covered with a semi-transparent plastic sheet. Something behind that plastic catches the eye immediately. Watch.
And there's no cunt behind there, right?
I'm staring there the whole
Yeah, fuck. It's got to be some reason for it, eh?
Yeah, go. Ain't no one walking past.
What are all these?
There's no one walking past that door. That's weird, man.
Yeah, let's see.
Shit.
Hey?
Oh, it's
No, it's there again, dude. I'm filming it, eh?
Oh, no.
You alright, mate?
Oh, Kim was right.
Last time I was standing here by myself. Wouldn't you just freak, eh?
Yeah, I did, that's why.
I thought it was like someone joking around.
No, I'm glad I did that.
Oh!
Why is it this above that line?
Can you explain that?
No.
There's no one behind there. What the f? Doesn't make any sense, man. And look at all this shit, like, in the air.
Looks like I see an arm going across those.
Behind the sheeting, a dark, amorphous shadow moves from right to left, subtle, but there. Then a second shape appears, slightly more defined, holding position on the left side of the door. When the man in the full orange hazmat suit walks down the corridor to check what's behind the door, he finds nothing. The room on the other side, according to the footage, was an operating room, and it was empty. What makes this harder to dismiss is that the Royal Adelaide Hospital had been associated with paranormal reports for years before demolition even began, with staff and visitors describing strange shadows and unexplained figures throughout the building. Some believe that spirits tied to places of suffering, death, and trauma don't simply leave when the walls come down, and that the demolition itself may have stirred something. Where do you think they go when the building is finally gone? This next video was recorded inside what appears to be a long, dark hallway at nighttime, a corridor lined with wood-paneled walls and repeating archways that recede deeper and deeper into shadow, the kind of space that already feels wrong before anything happens in it. The artificial overhead lighting casts a warm, yellowish glow along the upper walls, but the far end of the hallway stays completely dark, like whatever's down there isn't meant to be seen. No one filmed this. No one was standing at the other end. Watch. Just beyond the first archway, a faint whitish-gray mist drifts smoothly from right to left across the corridor and vanishes into the shadows in under 2 seconds. Some viewers think it's a dust particle or lens artifact, and with footage this blurred, that's genuinely hard to rule out. Others believe it's something else entirely. What do you think was moving through that hallway? In this next video, a father had been growing increasingly concerned about his young daughter's behavior. At first, it seemed harmless enough. Like many children her age, she would spend long periods talking to someone nobody else could see, pausing as if she were listening to responses, laughing at jokes that no one had told, and occasionally looking toward empty corners of the room as though another child were standing there with her. Naturally, her father assumed it was an imaginary friend, until it stopped being a case of a child talking to something invisible. It became a case of something responding. Watch.
Miren hasta el final. Esto es una cosa muy loca lo que pasa acá, cerca de mi barrio, a la vuelta de mi casa. Bueno, mi hija se ve que tiene un amigo invisible,
Porque ustedes miren. Váyale, decirle que traiga el coche. Decirle que traiga el coche, decirle. Le dice que traiga el coche.
¡Dale el coche!
No.
In the video, the father challenges the situation directly. He asks his daughter to tell her imaginary friend to move the walker, and it did. One of the oldest paranormal beliefs surrounding children is the idea that they may be more sensitive to things adults no longer notice. Across countless cultures, there are stories claiming that young children can see spirits, entities, or presences that become inaccessible as people grow older. Whether that's folklore, superstition, or something else entirely is impossible to prove, but stories like this continue to fuel the belief. Some viewers suggested the child may have unknowingly formed a connection with a spirit. Others went much further, warning that not everything presenting itself as a child's friend has good intentions. What do you think? The following video was captured by a man doing what appears to be a late-night walkthrough of an empty industrial building. Service corridors, loading bays, the kind of place that feels unsettling even when nothing's happening. He moves through a series of narrow hallways, lit by fluorescent overhead lights, past recycling signs and yellow safety markings, before pushing through a plastic strip curtain into a vast, dimly lit loading dock below. Concrete pillars, orange industrial lights, long shadows stretching across the floor. The space is completely deserted, and from the moment the clip begins, there's already something deeply wrong, because a loud, continuous, high-pitched alarm tone is ringing out through the entire area with no clear origin. He pans the camera across the empty dock, taking in the loading bays and the grimy walls, and you can feel the tension building. Watch.
Oh, shit. Who's there?
He still hasn't gotten over that scream, and from the look of things, something knew he was there and reacted. Liminal spaces like loading docks and service corridors have developed their own folklore online in recent years, described as places that exist between destinations, spaces no one is supposed to linger in, and that in some accounts are thought to attract residual energy or presences tied to the labor and isolation those spaces carry. The second clip takes that atmosphere even further. The person filming moves through another service corridor in what appears to be the same building, pulling aside a mold-stained plastic curtain before walking slowly down a narrow passage with concrete walls and warm yellow overhead light. Listen closely. If you look at the top right corner, you'll see a humanoid figure hanging. After he shared the footage, many people immediately connected the figure to the scream captured earlier. Some speculated that whatever produced that sound may have been the same presence now appearing in the corridor. Of course, skeptics argue that the figure could be an illusion created by shadows, pipes, hanging material, or the low image quality of the footage. But for those who believe the scream and the figure are connected, that's a difficult explanation to accept. Now in this next clip, a man is working the night shift alone at a dark industrial factory, his first night on the job, when something stops him cold in one of the long corridors. He's moving through the building with a flashlight, checking doors, narrating to himself the way people do when they're trying not to feel uneasy about being completely alone in a space that large. You can hear it in his voice, that thin attempt at casual conversation with no one in particular. He makes his way down a long, empty hallway, concrete floor, exposed beams above, sparse lights doing almost nothing against the dark, and announces out loud that he's there by himself. Watch.
One more door. Yeah, this one's heavy. I'm here, all by myself.
At the far end of the hallway, a figure with long dark hair briefly peeks around the corner, just for a moment. What makes the sighting so unsettling is the timing. The figure appears immediately after he acknowledges that he's alone, almost as though something heard him and decided to respond. Whether that's coincidence or not, it's the detail that viewers keep coming back to. Many people compared the figure to one of the most common apparitions reported in industrial locations and abandoned buildings, the peeking ghost. Unlike full-bodied apparitions that stand openly in view, these sightings are often described as figures that watch from doorways, corners, stairwells, and hallways, revealing only part of themselves before quickly retreating from sight. Factories can be especially fertile ground for stories like these. Decades of accidents, overnight shifts, injuries, and constant human activity often leave behind local legends among workers. In many places, night shift employees pass down stories about figures seen in corridors, shadows standing near machinery, or unexplained encounters that only seem to happen after everyone else has gone home. Now, in this next clip, a man is spending a quiet night at home with his young son, the kind of ordinary evening where the biggest concern should be which action figure wins the fight. But something on the porch keeps pulling his attention back, and when it happens a second time, with his son sitting right there in the room, he doesn't hesitate for a second. Watch.
Se movió la silla. No mames. Hijo, Vente. Salte. ¿Ahí estás, hijo? Sí. Te voy a echarte un ojito, papi. Quiero jugar contigo. Pero se pelean, papi. Sí. Ay, no. A ver. ¿Quién es el superhéroe y quién es el villano? Cuéntame, porque yo no sé.
Mira, este es el superhéroe. Y este es el villano.
No mames. No mames, viste. Vete para acá, vete para acá, vete para acá. Se movió. Se movió la silla. No mames. Hijo. Vente. Salte. Vámonos. Salte. Mierda. No mames. ¿Qué pedo? Vente, hijo. Vente, agarra tus cosas. Vámonos de aquí. Vámonos, vete por la casa. Ahorita jugamos acá adentro, ¿sí? Es que se movieron las cosas. Métete, papi. Métete.
A white metal rocking chair on the porch begins moving on its own. No breeze, no one nearby, nothing physically touching it. The man grabs his son and gets him out immediately. Some viewers immediately pointed to a poltergeist-type presence, entities associated with kinetic disturbances, objects moving without contact, often described as being drawn to spaces where children are present. Others weren't ready to go that far, arguing the chair could have been disturbed by uneven flooring or a vibration from inside the house. But if you watch the second movement closely, the chair doesn't drift or wobble. It pushes forward with force, at a moment when the house is otherwise completely still. What's harder to dismiss is the pattern, the same object, the same location, twice in one night, and both times right when the man and his son were nearby. Whether something in that house was reacting to them or simply didn't want them there is a question the father clearly couldn't wait around to answer. In the following video recorded late one night, in France, a man pulls out his phone to film his kitchen because this isn't the first time something strange has happened here, and he wants it on record. Speaking calmly in French, he points out a drawer that's already sitting open on its own, notes that his small black dog is hiding under the dining table, and confirms out loud that he's completely alone. Then he does something that takes either courage or desperation. He asks, directly, for whatever is there to show itself. Watch.
Donc voilà, je refais une vidéo parce que il se passe encore des phénomènes, comme vous pouvez le voir. Il y a le tiroir qui s'est ouvert tout seul. Vous pouvez vous constater, je suis tout seul. Il y a juste le chien qui est effrayé en dessous de la table. Sinon, je suis absolument tout seul. Donc, est-ce que vous pouvez vous manifester, s'il vous plaît? Ok. Est-ce que vous pouvez vous dire ce que... Oh, putain, je calme. Je ne vous veux aucun mal. Oh, vache. Ok. Je me casse.
The upper cabinet door swings open on its own the moment he finishes asking, as if something actually heard him. Before he can even process it, two metal shakers are violently hurled from near the refrigerator and clatter hard across the linoleum floor. He manages a stunned, okay, starts to ask a follow-up question, and then a pepper grinder crashes off the dining table, followed immediately by an entire wooden chair being knocked backwards onto the floor. You can hear his voice go from measured to genuinely frightened in under 30 seconds. His dog never moved from under the table. What makes this so hard to dismiss is the sequence, not one random event, but 4 separate disturbances in under a minute, each one more forceful than the last. That kind of escalating pattern is what investigators often associate with poltergeist activity, a word that comes from German meaning noisy ghost, typically described not as a traditional spirit, but as a concentrated burst of energy capable of physically interacting with the environment. Some believe it attaches to people rather than places, which would explain why he mentions this isn't even his first video. Others think the moment he issued that invitation, asking it to manifest, he changed the nature of the interaction entirely. Whether that was brave or reckless, only he can say. The following clips come from the same household, and together they paint a picture of something that's been present here for a very long time. During the day, while natural light poured in through the bedroom windows, 2 young girls set up a camera aimed directly at a set of closed white double doors at the end of the hallway. No one else was in the house, no windows were open, nothing was running nearby that could account for what happened next. The hallway stayed completely quiet for nearly 2 full minutes. Watch.
If you can shut the doors.
Go sit down.
Okay, so you know we're staying. Can you please shut the doors?
Kind of show it so you can see that it sees. Oh yeah. They're shutting.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, show it so nobody can everybody can see that.
Oh wow, nice job. That's really good.
Actually, I don't think it's slamming.
Guys, look, he basically
show it like this so you can see that nobody's pushing the door or something.
Okay, can you try opening the doors? If it's too hard, we can help you. Yeah. I'm gonna give you a second to try opening them. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a little push right here.
That's good. Now can you please open them?
Or shut them?
That might have been a little hard right there.
They're a little open.
And also I feel like they would stick together. That'd be hard to do it.
Can you push it open?
I smell really badly. I'm sweating so much.
Me too.
Me too. Let's shut it.
Oh, awesome job. I feel like this will be easier to open now.
So can you try opening it? This is the most activity I've ever actually seen because my mom was always the one that saw the activity happening.
Can you please try pushing the doors open instead of shutting them?
Wow, nice job.
That's really impressive.
Oh, is it? Whatever, that was just...
Okay.
Wait.
It's shutting them. Good job. Try keeping one open.
Oh, nice job. Okay, guys, let's go downstairs.
Okay, we're gonna head downstairs, okay?
The left door slowly, silently swings inward on its own. No creak from the hinges, no scraping against the carpet, just a smooth and deliberate movement that stops on its own about a foot open. What makes this harder to dismiss than a simple draft is the silence. Drafts cause doors to rattle, to creak, to drift unevenly. This door moved with the kind of slow, steady purpose that most people associate with something intentional. Skeptics will argue that a fine string or someone just off-frame could explain it, and that's a fair counterpoint. But the person filming doesn't react. No gasp, no jump, no verbal response, which, combined with the caption suggesting they grew up casually playing with ghosts, implies this isn't even close to the strangest thing they've experienced in this house. That context matters, because the second clip makes it clear this activity didn't start with them. Watch.
Person. Idiot. It's a person. It's Walter. It's a person. It's a guy. Walter is here. He never gets Walter. The Walter is not scared about God. Walter, let's go. He's locked. Stop.
At night, in a dim hallway with the same dark patterned carpet, a young boy is caught sleepwalking, shirtless, clutching something to his chest, completely disoriented. But what he's saying is the part that stays with you. He's talking to or about someone named Walter, insisting, "It's a person, it's here," his voice breaking into crying before he says, "He never," and then trails off. His brothers, according to the caption, grew up reporting the same thing. A figure they called a top hat man, appearing at night, connected to episodes of sleepwalking just like this. The Hat Man is one of the most consistently reported figures in sleep paralysis and night terror accounts worldwide. A tall, dark, featureless silhouette wearing a wide-brimmed hat, described by people across completely different cultures and languages with eerie similarity. Many researchers believe the figure represents something experienced in the liminal space between sleep and consciousness. But this child isn't describing a shadow. He's describing a person with a name, Walter. Where did that name come from? And what exactly is he seeing in that hallway?